This is episode 19 of Big C Talks. I'm Colton Sutley, also known as Big C. So, this episode we're gonna just talk a little bit about college football and a little bit about sprint car, some racing like some NASCAR and sprint car racing. I'll try to put the times to skip ahead to what you may or may not like. Skip around, just so you can listen. You don't have to listen for the whole thing if you're not interested in, say, football or racing or whatever. All right, so gonna be working on uh, the college football preview for this year using Phil Steele's college football preview magazine as kind of like a guideline. He goes very in depth with all the teams and the position groups and talks to most of the coaches at the FBS level. I'm thinking I want to try to cover every FBS conference and do like multiple episodes, and that way they're not like too long, and you can kind of pick and choose. Like if you just want to listen to like the SEC or the Sun Belt or whatever you want to listen to, and or you just want to listen to certain teams, you can skip around. You don't have to listen to like a 5 hour long episode, and also a little easier on me so that I don't have to sit and talk for like 5 hours straight or anything crazy. But some news recently is the Northwestern football program, the hazing that's going on there. Supposedly, well, it looks like I think there's only been like one actual player to come out against it to say that it's happened, and there's been some that like say it's not true. So I don't know, but either way, they suspended their head coach Pat Fitzgerald for 2 weeks with no pay for now because they're reopening the investigation and stuff after it came out like what was the hazing is supposed to, what type of hazing happened. It's very disgusting if it is true. Very it's just basically like sexual assault type stuff. It's very I just I I just hope the truth, whatever the truth is, comes out because it's not a good situation for any parties involved. It's very just look it up yourself and you're like see what I mean. It's like talking just stuff that shouldn't be happening. Hazing shouldn't be a thing, or at least if it is, it's like, oh, you gotta sing your like high school fight song or something. Something very stupid and not. Just hazing shouldn't be a thing and stuff. But it's just a terrible situation. And I hope the investigation finds out the truth, and whatever that means, Pat Fitzgerald, their head coach, gets fired, and there's penalties for the program. Whatever happens, happens, and I just hope whatever the truth is comes out. Um, yeah, now I don't know how to segue into the next topic about college football I have here, but imagine a night game. Oh, it's like early 2000, 1990s. Enter Sandman's playing at Blacksburg, Virginia. Virginia Tech's getting ready to come out to enter Sandman, playing their ranked, like, top 10, top 15, getting ready to come out against top 10 ranked Florida State, top 5 ranked Miami. Just sending them chills down the spine. You got Beamer ball ready to show them what's up. Just chills, man. But imagine if they were actually Virginia Tech was as good as they were back then in the early 2000s and the 90s today. Have them coming out night game against number 4 Clemson, and they're ranked like 11th or 7th or whatever. Virginia Tech's ranked 7th or 11th against number 4 Clemson, or number 6 Florida State, number 12 Miami, whatever, and just the atmosphere that just sending chills, man. And then just think about all the programs that college football would be better if these programs were good again. Think of if Nebraska was back in their heyday in like the early 2000s and the 90s and 80s and stuff. Texas was actually back. I mean, they act like they're back, but like if they were actually back, imagine Miami, the U with the swagger back. Just imagine Virginia Tech, Beamer ball like they used to play. Imagine even Stanford back in the early 2000 or 2010s, that hard nosed offense. Just just think of all these programs that and USC being back. They're kind of coming back. They're back more than Texas. But just imagine all these programs being back and like making college football great again. And the only problem is, I don't know about you guys, but as a fan, I like parity. And I like multiple good teams. I like upsets. The 2007 season sounds like it'd be amazing to live through. All the upsets, and it just sounds great. And just, it's like you gotta have, like, you want those great programs to come back. You like Florida State to be like they were, and Nebraska and Miami and USC and Texas, and even now Oklahoma's kind of going through some transition. You just want some of these programs to be back how they used to be, and but you also want the variety. You want to see the Coastal Carolinas and the Utahs and TCUs and Kansas States and even Kansas and like all these different schools to just be good and have some variety and have some upsets, and you just you want to it's just hard to choose what you would want because there's so much. It's even like that in the professional levels with in pro sports. Like you want like the historically good teams to be great again, and but yet you want new teams to come up and shake things up. But it's just hard to you just want good games. That's all we want. And if I had to choose between having good games or bringing some of these programs coming back really good and making college football better in some eyes, or having parity and having college football be better for that, I don't care. I just want good games. It'd be amazing if you could have a little bit of both, have these teams being really good and stuff, but then have teams like that aren't supposed to be like, the top dogs in the sport come out and do really good things. But it's just like now looking back, you don't like this year in college football. I don't really feel like there's really a dominant team because every team has so many question marks. And like I mean, Alabama is still going to be Bama, but it's going to be different because the quarterback situation isn't solved. I just offensively and defensively they don't feel like the Bama of old, but I it's Nick Saban. He's going to make that team really good and won't have anything to worry about. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Um, Georgia quarterback questions. They they look good pretty much everywhere else though. Kirby Smart has them like Bama 2.0. LSU's on the up and up. I feel like they're not like the LSU of the early 2010s. With like the Honey Badger and all them. They always had freaking studs at running back and receiver and stuff. Just kind of had a more pro style offense for like the 2000s rather than the like kind of the more spread you out type pro offenses that we have now. USC, they're looking good. Defense is still a question mark. They got a bunch of transfers, though. Ohio State has to replace a quarterback, and other than that, I think they're probably one of the better teams in the country. Obviously, Michigan, they offensively, I think they might lose like a receiver and a couple of linemen, and defensively, they might lose a few guys. But like they're probably the most complete team as of right now that with like experience. Um, Penn State's looking real good. They replaced their quarterback, but Drew Aller looks really good. Florida State's on the up and up. According to the late kick with uh, Josh Pate said that Florida State doesn't meet the blue chip um, percentage. You have to have so many blue chip prospects coming out of high school or whatever to win a national championship, as statistics of the past champions show, and Florida State doesn't quite meet that. Um, Clemson, they got new OC. It's interesting to see if they get back to like how they were in the 2010s, like early to mid 2010s when they were, started with like Tosh Boyd, popping off, Sammy Watkins, DeAndre Hopkins, Tavis Bryan, then switching to Deshaun Watson and, Mike Williams, T. Higgins, Hunter Renfro, then into the Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne type stuff, and then they've had some downtime, but they're still Clemson. See how they do. Oklahoma's coming off of a rough year, second year head coach and Brent Venables. I think they should be pretty good. Texas looking like they're back. They say not every year though. TCU's won't be as good, but should be pretty good on offense still. Got a pretty good quarterback taking over for Max Duggan. Just Utah is going to be solid. Always going to be a solid program out west. Just going to be interesting to see like which one of those teams steps up. I mean, Oregon, you got Oregon too. Just a lot of good solid teams. Just nobody I feel like really stands out as the team this year, like the team that's going to dominate. And by week one we might get a good idea, and then by like week three, I'd say week 3-4, you'd really have a really good idea. I mean, of who's who, but I mean, it's going to be interesting. Quarterback wise, I feel like there's still quite a few good quarterbacks throughout college football. I feel like the parity with that is phenomenal. Last year it was looking really good. I know quite a few guys left from the top to the bottom of the FBS throughout the levels. There's been a lot of change. Not only guys graduating and going to the NFL or leaving early to go to the NFL. You got guys transferring to switching teams. Sam Hartman went from Wake Forest to Notre Dame. Devin Leary went from NC State to Kentucky. You got Shadur Sanders going to Colorado from Jackson State. He should be a freaking stud. He was a stud at the HBCU FCS level. Dion, his dad. You got Caleb Williams coming back, and Drake May, Jordan Travis, Jaden Daniels. But then you also lost like Holton Ahlers from East Carolina. He went to the league, or graduated and went to the league. I want to say Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, Tanner McKee, out at Stanford. They all left to the NFL. But I think Frank Harris is still at UTSA. He's a solid stud quarterback. So is Grayson McCall at Coastal Carolina. Sun Belt. Michael Pratt, Tulane, and the Green Wave. They roasted the heck out of USC on Threads. First day. It's going to be a good year, college football. see who stands out, see what teams can improve. And like I said, I'm going to try to do a preview, even though I just did a little short, like 5 minute one. Um, going to go in more depth, hopefully, and stuff. And, throughout the season, mention guys to watch out for that are going off, and try to do like prediction, pick 'em thing, or keep track of how many games I can pick right of who's going to beat who and stuff, and going to be exciting. Now NASCAR, we're going to talk about some NASCAR. So Friday night, in the ARCA series at Mid Ohio Sports Car Course, the top five was Tyler Ankrum. Uh, he won it, and then William Solich, Jack Wood, Jesse Love, and Dale Corley rounded out the top five. I didn't. I think I might watch like part of the end of the race there, but I wasn't really paying attention, so not too much to talk about there. Um, the Truck Series also was at Mid Ohio. I did not watch this. I forget what I was doing. I don't think I was able to watch it, but well, no, I didn't watch it, but the top five was Corey Heim with the win. It was the second of the season. The first one was at, I think, Martinsville, and it was rain shortened, so kind of had the asterisk type thing because they didn't complete the whole race, but still a win's a win. Zane Smith got second, Christian X got third, Stuart Friesian got fourth, and Ben Rhodes got fifth. I'm not sure how the points are looking for them, but I watched I think maybe a couple of races of the Truck Series this year, not as just busy and stuff, and you can't watch every single race. So, but a lot of good racing this year in that series, and then the Xfinity Series race at Atlanta last night. I watched that. And that was a really good race. Well, I'm going to say the top five right now, and then go into it a little bit deeper since I was actually able to watch it. John Hunter Nemechek got his third win of the season. Daniel Hemrick got second. Cole Custer got third. Justin Haley got fourth, and Sam Mayer got fifth. Sam Mayer did say it. He ran towards the back a lot of the day, and in an interview, and he said he probably got fifth because everybody started running out of gas at the end, because it had a long green flag run, and then they went into overtime and couldn't get gas. The Colleague Racing team, there's three teams. The 11 of Daniel Hemrick, the 16 of Chandler Smith, and they have the number 10 car that they put different drivers in, like some of them like Cup drivers, like Justin Haley. He races for them in the Cup Series, but he raced in the Xfinity Series for them last night. They were working so good, like drafting at Atlanta last night. It was really good, and they probably would have got. They should have got a win with one of the cars, and the other two should have got at least top fives, if not all in the top three. But with them going to overtime, Chandler Smith ran out of gas, so he dropped back. Justin Haley said he started running out of gas, so he pulled out from under Daniel Hemrick, so they couldn't draft as well. They weren't drafting anymore because of it, because he had to go down lower, so the gas would go down to the intake, and it worked really good, and it's just what could have been, but you want to freaking Austin Hill is that dude on plate tracks. I know like technically they don't like run plates in the cars anymore at like the plate tracks, but like the drafting tracks like Daytona, Talladega, now Atlanta, and he was going off for like 60 laps, and he was one that caused a caution with three to go into overtime, but man, he started in the back in the day, and then for like 60 laps he was fighting in the top five. Like, he'd be drafted, like, Sheldon Creed, his teammate, was out of the race, and he would just go and, like, draft, and it was just like pretty much one lane drafting, and because no one would go on a run with him or couldn't go on a run with him, and he just pass down, and go up in between two cars, and then do it again and again, and he was got up to second, split up the colleague teams and stuff, and then he dropped back a little bit, but he was still running pretty good, and then he ended up spinning out because his tires just were shot and stuff, and he ended up getting tires and finishing 12th, and a lot of that helped because everybody was having gas issues and falling back. So it was a great race, probably one of the best races this year. The Cup Series, though, they race tonight at Atlanta. So this is being filmed Sunday the 9th, July 9th. So I'll probably watch it, but I won't be able to talk about it on this episode. But Eric Almirola is on the pole. Ryan Blaney is starting second. There's 8 Fords starting in the top 10. It's crazy because, Fords have been struggling some last year and especially this year so far, but something's clicking. And Eric Almirola, I heard in his interview, he said about Roush Fenway that the motors, even though he races for Stuart Haas, they must be using Roush Fenway motors and stuff. So that's nice to see that. Well, Roush Fenway, Keselowski, team. It's nice to see like Brad Keselowski and getting that team better and stuff as the season's gone on and stuff. And I can tell when he's getting interviewed about the team and stuff, you can tell how hard he's working and how stressed he is and tired he is from trying to make that team like it used to be before before he got to be the part owner and stuff. Back in the day with Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, you had Jamie McMurray and David Reagan, 5 freaking cars that they all could win, and that fighting for scraps and stuff. So hopefully they get back. They're down to 2 cars now, but hopefully they can get back to where they were. Even Mark Martin back in the day when he drove for him and stuff. But hopefully we'll see that. But the only 2 non-Fords in the top 10 qualified in the top 10 are Ty Gibbs, obviously Toyota, and Kyle Larson and Chevy. And I think they're like 7th and 8th or 8th and 9th in the top 10. And I think there's 2 more Fords in the top 15. Certain in the top 15, they just going really well. It should be hopefully it'll be a really good race. This new next gen car isn't the best, doesn't provide the best racing, but hopefully it kind of resemble the Xfinity race last night, because that was a really good race. The ending wasn't quite as good, but it was very good. Gonna take a drink real quick, Now it's on to the sprint cars. So the World of Outlaws, they canceled at 34 Raceway in Iowa. They should not have. There was videos of, I think, Hunter Schoenberg in the 16th car doing laps after they canceled, and it was sunny, track looked good, but they're trying to reschedule it. That's a lot of controversy. I mean, that track it can put on some good shows. I watched a couple IRA races there earlier this year, and the high limit race was there and put on some good racing. But they did race last night at the Badger 40 at Wilmot in Wisconsin. The top 5 was Carson Macedo. It's his 4th Outlaw win this year, and it's his 5th one this year overall. I believe the other one was the All-Star race at Volusia to start out the year in February. And then Brad Sweet was 2nd. And then Sheldon Haudenschild, Donnie Schatz, and Casey Kane. It's nice to see Casey Kane get a top 5. And actually, Donnie Schatz and Sheldon getting top 5s are nice to see as well. But especially Casey Kane, the past this year and last year, he went on the Outlaw Tour and dropped off each time. This year earlier than last year and stuff. But I mean, I'm hoping he can get an outlaw win before he's done racing and stuff, and be nice to see. I like with my sprint car racing. I like a lot of parity, like I do in my college football for the most part, as I mentioned earlier. Right now the points is Brad Sweet's leading, David Gravel's behind by 12, and Carson Macedo's back by 50. Those are really the only three that are in it. I think Logan Schuart was in fourth, and he was like 200 some points behind. Um, the Brad Doty Classic is their next race coming up at Attica on Tuesday, the 11th, and then, go into the Eldor Million and the King's Royal. The King's Royal is the outlaw. I'll probably cover that. There's another preview thing later this week about those races, like a little shorter video. The All Stars, they were at Ransomville in New York on Friday. The top five was Zeb Wise. He was it's his fourth win, third with the All Stars, and the other one was at Williams Grove on opening night. Kerry Madsen was second, then Chris Wyndham, Parker Price Miller, and Nate Dussel. Nice to see Nate Dussel get a top five with the All Stars. Cy Lynch had very bad luck. I watched that whole race, and Cy, he wrecked on, didn't complete lap one. So on the start, he went straight to the top, got a good lead, and then went back, coming back to turn 1 and 2 on a second time. The lap didn't count because the whole field didn't get through the finish line, but he clipped the wall and flipped, and it would have been a great. He would have been his first All-Star win if he would have been able to do what Zeb Wise did, and it would have been like his grandma had just Gene Lynch, the legendary Gene Lynch, had just passed away this past week or so, and it would have been really nice to see him getting that victory and stuff, and he would have, because Zeb Wise then got moved from starting second to on the pool because they crisscross to move up, and he won by like 11 and a half seconds, dominated that race, and he did the same thing Cy did, just was lucky that he didn't go not too close to the wall. Hopefully Cy gets a win here soon, a big win here soon, and stuff. I mean, I feel it coming. He's getting better in that McCandless owned car, and even in his own equipment, has had some good runs the past few years against like the Outlaws and stuff, or like top competition like that. And then last night, or kind of this morning as well, the Lou Blaney Memorial at Sharon. Tyler Courtney won, so he joins the list of prestigious drivers who won the Lou Blaney Memorial. It was his sixth win with the All Stars this year. That's all the wins he has so far, but 6 wins in any series or against any competition is really good. And then Chris Wyndham got second, Zeb Wise got third, Kerry Madsen got fourth, and Dave Blaney got the Buckeye Bullet got fifth. Chris Wyndham, I feel like he's coming. A win for him is coming. I actually picked him to win the Lou Blaney Memorial and the Pick'em Challenge I do with my buddy Tim Friedhaber. But yeah, so their next race is the Don Martin Memorial Silver Cup. I'm thinking about going to that, leaving work early and going to that. I'm not sure. That's July 18th. A lot of those guys will be at the Million and the King's Royal as well. So, the NARC King of the West, they raced last night as well out in California at Petaluma. The top five was Chase Johnson with the win. It's his first winged win this season. It's his second, or excuse me, he also has 2 wingless wins, wingless sprint car wins this year. Justin Sanders off in that big Dirt Cup win, got second. I almost called it Gold Cup. The Gold Cup is not at Skagit. Too many cup races in sprint car racing. Corey Day got third, and Sean Becker was fourth, and rounding out the top five was Dylan Bloomfield. Corey Day's dominate this year in that, and Dylan Bloomfield. It's nice to see he got top 5. I'm sure here coming soon this season he'll probably get a victory in the 410 somewhere. The not AC, the ASCS National Tour. They had 2 nights at Dodge City in Kansas. It was a Steve King Memorial. Jason Martin won night 1 and Matt Covington won night 2. Jason Martin's having a dominant season in the 360 touring series. He's leading the points over Matt Covington by 58. No one else is really in contention anymore, I feel. But yeah, it's nice. Like, they can put on some really good shows, the ASCS and stuff, and that, and with the Knoxville, the 360 Nationals, which is sanctioned by them, and the Knoxville Nationals coming up here in August. I think I might have to get a Dirt Vision subscription, yearly subscription, just so I can watch some of those races, because it's going to be some great racing, especially in this 360 field. And then the USAC sprint cars, they race Friday and Saturday night at Macon I think it's Speedway in Illinois. Mitchell Moles won night 1 and Brady Bacon won night 2. The points is probably the closest out of the series we've covered so far. Jake Swanson is in first. Emerson Axum is 3 back. And then Brady Bacon, Justin Grant, and Kyle Cummins all are within 100 points. So that's the top 5 within 100 points of each other. Actually, probably closer to like 70 points. I just didn't feel like doing the math. And then I want to say it was CJ Leary is in 6th, and he's just a little over 100 points back. But, kind of, as of right now, a little too far back to still be in contention. The USAC Midgets, they also have some races this week, like a Tuesday and Wednesday. I forget where they're at, but that'll be on Flow Racing. So you got some midweek racing to watch, actually quite a bit. So that will be exciting. So for local Western PA racing, the top 5 at Lernerville Friday night was AJ Flick, Mark Smith, Dale Blaney, Bobby Elliott, and Bob Felmy. Mark Smith, it's like he's been out this way a couple times, especially during Western PA Sprint Speed Week. It's nice to see him do well down there at Lernerville. AJ Flick's I think that's his 9th victory this year, so that's really good. Good run by the low rider Dale Blaney. Bob Felmy, nice to see him get top 5, and Bobby Elliott, I don't know too much about him, but it's nice to see a different name up in the top 5 there. Then I forgot what I was going to say there for a second. I already talked about Sharon with the All-Stars and stuff. And actually, Bob Felmy was the highest finishing local, not counting Dale or Dave Blaney, because they don't. Well, I guess you could count Dale because he still lives locally, but Dave lives down in North Carolina, I do believe. But Bob, he's one guy that's didn't drive like full time with the Outlaws or anything, but it's nice to see. I think he finished 12th at Sharon, so that's a nice run by him. And then I did update the points for this week for the Western PA 410 season championship thing I'm doing. It's still AJ Flick in first with 388, and then you got good old Bob Felmy second, 281.5. Then Brandon Mattis at 256, Carl Bowser at 252.5, and then in fifth you got Brandon Spithaler at 242.5, and a good battle between him and Jack Soderman Jr. because Jack Soderman Jr. is at 242. Dale Blaney's at 231 in 7th. Dan Kruger 218.5 at 8th. George Hoball 193.5, and Michael Bauer in 10th at 172.5. I finished up the 2022 season of going back and looking at the championship and doing the adding up the points and stuff. Um, but I don't know when I'll cover that. But so far this year in Western PA, there's been 22 races this year so far. Six different tracks. I think there's going to be a couple more added. I think Latrobe has a race, and Thunder Mountain was supposed to have one, but I don't know if they're still going to be running at all this year. But so it might get up to like 8 tracks this year. Um, 133 different drivers so far have ran this year. I'm sure that number is going to get probably pretty close to 200. Um, Hard to tell what local drivers might pop out of nowhere and race, or which guys might come from out of state or out east to race. Just local stuff. I know Silver Cup. You might get a few that will want to race from coming from Eldora. You might have some like shoot. I'm sorry, I forgot my train of thought there for a second. But for the Commonwealth Clash, it's a high limit race, 50,000 to win. You're gonna get guys from out east and PA and like over in Ohio and stuff coming, and you got like so many guys that are driving like just for this high limit series that will be coming and racing in it. So hopefully see some good racing, like some different variety of drivers show up and stuff for that race. Um, Hopefully this weekend coming up, Mercer has a SummerSlam 7K to win race. Um, hopefully get some pretty good car cap guys from like different like Ohio and stuff that might not be racing at a million to come, or one it would be the Kings Royal not at that point, but hopefully some of them come and race. But some of the local drivers might be. I know there's like 5 local drivers that are going to be at the million, so they might just stay for the Kings Royal as well. But yeah, I could see that the number of drivers we have racing Western PA go up by should at least 20. So probably not get close to quite to 200. I guess I didn't really think it'd have to be 70 more drivers showing up. But probably definitely get up to like the 150s or around there, I would say. Um, but yeah, so and then Tri City races Sunday, uh, this coming Sunday as well. So hopefully maybe some guys coming back from the million might stop by and race there, or race there and then go down to the Silver Cup or something. But it's hard to tell with how expensive everything like gas and tires and just parts in general are. Um, and then Central PA, Anthony Macri won PA Speed Week. That's kind of old news. Now he won that on July 4th officially. Um, this past Friday, the 7th, Williams Grove canceled. Just some bad luck, freaking rain. And then Saturday, Port Royal, Devin Borden won. He's having a phenomenal year. At Lincoln, Danny Dietrich won. Nice to see he got a victory. I think that's only like his second or third win this year, and he's been running really good. Just missing out on that win. Um, then Knoxville, they raced last night as well. Brian Brown won the 410s, and Chase Randall won the 360s. Um, they're both going to be at the million and stuff, and maybe they'll make their way to this Silver Cup at Lernerville. Um, I'd like to see that especially because they both run the High Limit Series, or at least they did. I don't know how well they're doing in points or anything, so they may or may not drop off. Then Sealands Grove and Huset's race today. As long as they don't get rained out, I'm not sure. And then, like I said earlier, I'm going to preview the outdoor races later this week. Maybe the Silver Cup as well. I might just wait till the weekend to do the Silver Cup. I don't know. It's hard to say with it being on a Tuesday. I might end up doing it along with the Eldora races, or maybe do a little separate video and just release it like in time. Um, I got a question for you guys before I end this. Should I do like separate episodes? What would you guys prefer if I did separate episodes for like racing and football weekly? Like I know right now I might not be able to talk a ton about football. Um, and it's just kind of hard to do all the research by myself and find the time to record and everything. I mean, just finding time to record in general is hard. Um, but like especially like in the fall, I could do racing and football separately, shorter video. Like they wouldn't be quite as like an hour long or anything. They'd be a little shorter, like probably like half hour ish videos maybe. But like that way you don't have to skip around in the episodes and stuff. And also I might do that with mixing in other stuff. Would you want like the other stuff that I talk about like in each episode, or like and mix in with the racing or football episodes, or have the stuff, if there's stuff I want to talk about that's not involved with those two, just do it separate as well. And then obviously the guest interviews would be separate once I start doing guest interviews again. Hopefully here soon I can do it. Just I'm busy. My friends and people I want to interview, get busy and stuff. But hopefully here soon I can get back into it. But just let me know what you guys think and stuff, and I'll figure it out. And if if you listen this far, or if you listen at all, I am thankful that you have. So like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe or follow or whatever on like all the Spotify, Amazon Music, anywhere you listen to your podcast. Like, follow, comment, rate 5 stars, whatever it is. There's so many damn different things to do it. I do have a thread now, and I do have a link tree. I'll post at some point. I'm gonna post all my socials on my YouTube and then my Spotify and all that stuff for you guys to follow me and whatever. But just take it easy this week and enjoy some racing if you like racing, and just chill out, go golfing if you can. Just have a good time and be safe out there.